All right, so today I wanted to talk about the times I got humiliated in class back in college as a sub 5 male. Back in 2013, I was balding significantly, and I was around 300 pounds at this time. The prior few years, I had put on a significant amount of weight for various reasons. My parents got divorced around that time, and I was just really down in the dumps and kind of did the classic, eat away your feelings type thing. There was like an elective writing class that I signed up for. I signed up for it because it looked fairly easy, and I do like to write. I remember running late to this class on the first day, but probably about 10 minutes. I walk into the class, and there was only one seat towards the back that was available. As you can remember from college, you typically sit in the same seat all semester, so I was going to be kind of stuck with the seat. So as I'm walking to the desk that was open, I noticed that there was this girl that was sitting in the seat behind me. She was very attractive. She had dark black hair, brown eyes, in very good shape. As I was about to sit down, I glance at her, and she gives me this really weird look. Her eyebrows were slightly raised, and she looked kind of half furious, half disgusted. It was like the classic stink face that I think all sub 5 males have gotten at some point in life. I remember I had to pass back a packet on the first day, and she took it from my hand in a really aggressive way. It was like she just snatched it out of my hand. There was an acquaintance of mine named John that sat diagonal to her and me. He was a pretty nice guy. We were in the same major, and this was a pretty small university, so everyone kind of knew each other, and we were familiar. John and I were familiar with each other, and fairly friendly. Like I said, we were in a few classes together. And I remember about a week later, I was sitting down, and as she was walking past me to get to her desk at the start of class, she gave me the same dirty stink face look. I don't know what it was, but this girl was either really hated me or just completely disgusted by me. Each day she would walk past me and give me the stink face, but she would say, "Hi, John," in a very enthusiastic way. John wasn't a great looking guy. I would say he was slightly above average looking, but nothing special. Facially, he wasn't super tall or anything like that. And outside of giving me this stink face, she would never acknowledge or talk to me. I remember the first interaction that I had with her. I had forgot a pencil, and I asked John, and he didn't have one either. So I turned around and I asked her if she had a pencil, and she looked at me with the most disgusted look I've ever gotten in my life and said, "No," super quick. And it was a no in a rude way, very, very rude. Most people would be "Nah, sorry." For her, it was no, very kind of aggressive. And I don't know, over the next couple weeks, occasionally I would try to jump into a conversation that she was having with John. And it was I would try to interject at a point, that I was familiar with in their conversation. But she flat out ignored me I wasn't even there. The one time they were talking about a local restaurant, and I had commented that, the nachos are really good there. And she just gave me this blank stink face, weirded out look, and then didn't even comment on what I said, and then kept on talking to John pretty enthusiastically. So it comes to about a week before midterms, and we were playing this game. It was this guessing game, this stupid guessing game that we were playing to prepare for midterms, and one side of the room was on a team and the other side was on another team. And for whatever reason that day, the professor singled me out and asked me, "So what's your team name gonna be?" And at the time, I really wasn't in the mood. I was just trying to get through class. Like I said, I was going through a lot at the time. I couldn't think of a name, and I could hear her behind me snickering, and then like I was trying to think of something, and then she like scoffed and said, dude, just pick a freaking name. Like like really loud. And like everyone like looked over at me. A few people looked at her. Like it was, she said this like really loud, and obviously the room is like silent. And then, I said, Team Awesome. I didn't know what to say. I just came up with the first thing that kind of came to mind. Everyone just like busted out laughing hysterically. And I could hear her like mumbling, "What an idiot," and like a pretty like mean-spirited tone. Something I've also noticed is that like teachers and professors, whether it's in high school or college, they seem to like purposely pick on the sub five, like the token sub five in class. They tend to like, I don't know, I guess the like sub fives, like sometimes they stick out like a sore thumb. But it's like I've noticed, like particularly like in grade school and high school, they like, if you're a sub five, they put you on the spot, and it's never like putting you on the spot in a good way. It's like, what's the answer to this? They might ask like another student, "Hey Joe, did what answer did you come up with?" But to the sub five, they're like, "What's the answer? And give it to me now." it's just something I noticed. I don't know. It's kind of like when professors do that or teachers do that. It's like the corny dad jokes that your grandpa tells. Like it's never funny, and it's just awkward when it happens. When she freaked out and said, "Dude, just pick a freaking name," and when she was kind of like mumbling, like, "Oh, what an idiot," I like knew that this girl like hated me from the first second. She like laid eyes on me, but seeing it actually play out it was just so weird. And just like overall, when you get like embarrassed in class like that, I don't know, it just really sucks. So a few weeks later, we were kind of like studying at our desks. The lecture was over, and I don't know, I guess I was just getting really tired that day. So like I decided to lean back in my chair and like kind of lie my head back a little bit. And I guess I kind of dozed off for like a couple minutes. And then all of a sudden I wake up to the girl that's sitting behind me saying very loud, "Dude, get your head off my freaking desk." And like I could tell you, like jolted awake and like turned around. I was just like in shock because I didn't know, like when you're jolted awake like that, you're like in a daze and like you don't really know what happened. And then I just like turn around, and she has that same stink face death stare that she was giving me. And I didn't even like know what to say. Like back then, like anytime like something like that happened, I don't know, like back in 2013, 2014, I was just in a really bad place. It was like I wanted to like crawl under the desk and like never come out. It was like, that's kind of how I was feeling. But my head wasn't even, the thing is, my head wasn't even on her desk. There was definitely like a good bit of a distance between, the back of my desk and the front of her desk. So like, even if I was lying my head back, it wasn't really gonna be like on her, on her desk, like near where she was. When she said this, like everyone like turned to look right at me, like I did something like outlandish. It was just like I woke up I did doze off from sleeping, and it's like the guy John I knew turned around looking stunned. Like I guess he could tell that like, she was kind of like in the wrong for like yelling at me. And I remember, after class, I ran into John like outside of the building, and he was like, "Yeah, man, that was like crazy. You didn't even really do anything." And I said to him, "Yeah, I don't understand why like she was so angry. Like my head wasn't even on her desk." He actually told me, I guess they were like semi decent friends. I guess they were in like the same kind of similar social circle. And he told me, he's like, "Yeah, man, like For some reason, she thinks you're like super weird and creepy. I still was very blue pilled at this time, and I didn't really. It definitely was getting to me very badly that I was like losing my hair and then I was overweight. But I didn't realize like how much, your looks really affect how people, like some people like really treat you. So it was just interesting. But for the rest of that class, like I didn't really show up. I ended up only attending like one more class that was like a week before the final. And then for the final, and I didn't attend this class just really out of sheer embarrassment of, her like yelling at me, for pretty much doing nothing that had affected her. Being black pilled now, like when I look back to that year, I was balding like so badly that I gave off, like, instead of like the halo effect, I gave off the phalo effect. Like I had a receding hairline that went like super far back on my head. Like it went past like my ear. And like I was also like starting to thin pretty badly in the back. So I had like a thin bald spot too. And I think like subconsciously, because she was, she had to sit right behind me, she was probably like really like grossed out by that, because I think at the time, like I tried to grow my hair out to comb over the front. I was receding so badly that like the hair would like, it wouldn't cover it, and like the hair would like move and shift, and then you could see this like massively receded hairline. If you are yelled at or like made fun of as a sub 5, like nobody has your back. I'm talking no one. Like I think if you're an average looking guy and someone calls you out or makes fun of you, you'll have some people that'll look at the situation and be like, okay, what did he do wrong? Like why is he getting yelled at? But it's like, I don't know what it is, like as far as human nature goes, but when you're made fun of as a sub 5, people like automatically, like subconsciously assume that you did something wrong to provoke the person, provoke the antagonizer, in this case being this girl. It's just kind of the way it is, it's human nature can be brutal sometimes. And moral of the story, don't ask for a pencil as a sub 5, and don't doze off in class as one. Well, if you've enjoyed this video, you got some humor out of it, feel free to give it a like, feel free to subscribe, and until next time, take care.